Welcome the students of class 7, welcome to our social science history class, and today in this class we are going to discuss the last chapter from your history book, and the name of the chapter is 18th century political formation. It is the chapter 10 of your NCERT history book. So you can see the page number also written in the board, it is in 138. Okay. So let's begin our today's class with this chapter. So look at the first subunit. It is the crisis of the empire and the later Mughals. So before I introducing this chapter, that what happened at that time. So you know, after the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal empire started decline, and there was different reason that's today I am discussing. And so some of the direct reasons are the foreign attack. So notice how the boundaries of the Mughal empire were reshaped by the emergence of number of independent kingdom by 1765. In the map present in page number 138, you can see that, and as well as page in the map number 2, how British territories in the mid 18th century. What happened from the first half of the 18th century after the death of Aurangzeb, that no such powerful parties was there. Only Marathas and some regional kingdoms were there. So by 1765, notice how another power, the British, had successfully grabbed the major chunks of territory in Western India. And what these maps tell us is that political condition in 18th century India changed quite dramatically and within a relatively short span of time. And in this chapter, we will read about the emergence of new political groups in the subcontinent during the first half of 18th century and roughly from 1707, from the death of Aurangzeb till the third battle of Panipat 1761. Okay. So how did the Mughal empire decline? First we have to know that after the death of Aurangzeb and on the last few decades of the Aurangzeb, the Mughal emperor also started facing some serious crises, and these were caused by a number of factors. That Emperor Aurangzeb had depleted the military and financial resources of his empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan. In the Deccan or South India, today's Andhra Pradesh and some part of Maharashtra, this region, Karnataka, that Berar, Khandesh, Bijapur, Golconda and Ahmednagar, the five Shia states are there. So five Shia sultans, they continuously fought different battles against the Mughals. And on the other side, in Maharashtra, today's Maharashtra, in Maratha forces, in the leadership of Shivaji, and after the death of Shivaji, under the Peshwas and other leaders, they fought continuously against the Mughals. So it was so intense that the Aurangzeb had to spend the last 25 years of his life in the South India, and he also died in Deccan, in today's Maharashtra, that is in Aurangabad, a city known as Aurangabad, named after Aurangzeb. So under his successor, after the death of Aurangzeb, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. It became increasingly difficult for the Mughal emperors to keep check on the powerful Mansabdars and nobles appointed as governor or subedar in different provinces often controlled the offices of revenue and military administration, such as the revenue administration known as the Diwani, and who the head of the revenue administration, who collecting revenue from the peasants or zamindars, that is known as the Diwan, and who was the chief of the political affairs and military administration known as Fauzdar. So sometimes the Subadar also controlled both the offices, the three offices together, the post of Subadar, the post of Fauzdar, the military chief of that particular province, as well as the Diwan. So this gave them extraordinary political, economic and military powers together over vast regions of Mughal empire. So as the governors consolidate their control over the provinces, the periodic remission of revenue of the capital declined. So the amount of revenue sent towards the Delhi or center was started declining. And peasants and zamindari rebellion also occurred in different parts of the Mughal Empire because of lack of administrative power. So for the first reason, that is the powerful Subadars emerged in different provinces after the death of Aurangzeb. In the Delhi, in the center, there are different groups also emerged. Okay. So the peasants and zamindari rebellion, which is another problem, and these revolts were sometimes caused by the pressure of mounting taxes, because the regional rulers sometimes they collected huge amount of taxes. At other time, there were attempts by powerful chieftains to consolidate their own positions. So Mughal authority had been challenged by rebellious groups in the past as well, but at that time some powerful army general Subadar also there. Aurangzeb himself controlled the rebellion of the northwestern provinces by some rebellious groups and tribes such as Yusuf Jai, Afridi, okay. And at the times there were attempts by powerful chieftains to consolidate their own positions. But these groups were now be able to seize the economic resources of the region to consolidate their positions. And the Mughal emperors after Aurangzeb were unable to arrest the gradual shifting of political and economic authority into the hands of provincial governors, local chieftains and other groups, such as the governor of Awadh, the Sadat Khan. He was very much powerful and establishing, and he was totally enjoyed his autonomous power in Awadh. In Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan was sent as a governor, and he also enjoyed enormous power. In South India, in Deccan, Asaf Jha, Chinkilij Khan or the Nizam ul Mulk also acquired so much power. So in the midst of economic and political crisis, and in the center, the weak rulers such as Bahadur Shah I and the Shah Alam II and other rulers such as the Rafiuz Darazad, Ahmad Shah, Muhammad Shah. So these rulers were not so powerful to control these provincial governors. So in the midst of economic and political crisis, the ruler of Iran, Nadir Shah, sacked and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739 and took away immense amount of wealth from Delhi and killed a lot of people and plundered each and every house of Delhi. And this invention was followed by a series of plundering raids by the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali. Following Nadir Shah of Persia, the Ahmad Shah Abdali, Afghan ruler, also invaded North India 5 times from 1748 to 1761, and as a result, the economic crisis occurred, famine occurred in Delhi and surrounding regions. So already at the time, the Mughal rulers already under pressure from all sides, and the empire was further weakened by competition among different groups of nobles. At that time in Delhi, all the nobles means the rich people or the administrators who helped the Mughal emperor to rule the entire Mughal empire. So they also divided among some groups and started politics among them. So they were divided into 2 major groups or functions, the Iranis and the Turanis, the noble from the Turkish descent, and the Iranis, the nobles from the Persian descent. As well as the other 2 groups also emerged, such as the Afghani group, the people who came from Afghanistan, Afghani nobles, as well as the Indian nobles. Those are Indian Muslims. They also create a group. So 4 different groups are there, and for a long time the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hand of either one or other of these 2 powerful groups, such as the Sayyid brothers, also the leader of Indian groups of nobles. They controlled the Mughal emperor for a long time, and they also decided who will be the next emperor. So in this way, parties and politics devastated the center of Mughal emperor, that is Delhi. So the worst possible humiliation came when the two Mughal emperor Farrukh Shah ruled from 1730 to 1719 and Alamgir II 1754 to 1759 were assassinated. They were killed by the nobles. And two other Ahmad Shah from 1748 to 1754 and Shah Alam II 1759 to 1816 were blinded by their nobles. They were blinded. So they were blinded, and in their name the nobles ruled the entire empire. So in this meantime, the British forces, they understood no such powerful people was there, and the Maratha, who was the most powerful forces at that time, they reached up to the Jamuna at that time and created a huge empire in the central and western India. They also badly defeated by the Ahmad Shah Abdali in the third battle of Panipat. And with this, the possibility of establishment of another empire, that is the Maratha Empire, declined, and the British took the opportunity and playing their different games and playing different policies, they captured the India. Okay, so next stage we are going to discuss about each of individual states one by one. So till then, thank you for watching. See you in the next class.